So, being that he was from Kentucky, Kentucky is number one for insanity, for poverty, for toothlessness, for not having enough feet or shoes on their feet, for a lot of things, for being sick, poor, for having the worst scores. They used to have really bad scores. 2 out of 5 Kentuckians could not read in 1999. Kentucky's got a lot of problems, and I was trying to say before with the culture, it's like they're proud of being backwards. They're proud of being backwards. Ain't a word, and I ain't gonna say it. Ain't y'all? And I kind of do it. I try to get away from it a little bit. I don't know. There's a unique quality there to it, but I'm not proud of being dumb. I'm not proud of being like backwards and dumb. I consider myself pretty intelligent. So, don't mind the accent. So, we're talking about all these tragedies that he had. James Alex Fields Jr., father, he was killed by a drunk driver. I think number 1 in DUIs, too. So, a drunk driver kills his father when he's 33 years old before James Alex Jr. was born. So, his father's dead. He's born without a father. His mother has no husband. I think she does eventually find another man, but that's got to be tough, right? You're with your mother, and now all these other men are coming in and trying to, take the role of father or some bullshit there, when really he probably liked being with his mother. He got her all to himself. So that had happened, and then she had some tragedy. The mother, Samantha Bloom, when she was 16 years old. In 1984, Marvin Bloom and Judy Bloom, her husband, or her father and mother, had recently divorced. Judy Bloom moved into an apartment in Davo Drive in Cold Spring, I don't know. Cold Spring, Kentucky, with Samantha 4 to 5 months before Marvin killed Judy and himself with a shotgun outside the apartment. There were screams right after that shooting, and they were Samantha Bloom's. So Samantha Bloom lost both of her parents to a murder-suicide when she was 16 years old. What the fuck? Marvin Bloom, 42, 37, what the fuck was his deal? He was an oppressor. He thought he owned Judy Bloom. And then when he couldn't have Judy Bloom no more, he goes to her apartment where she had moved. She moved away. So did he get to keep the old place? What's he doing? What's he up to? He's not moving on with his life, clearly. He goes to the apartment with a shotgun, kills her, then kills himself. Uh-oh. The neighbor's dogs are barking. There's probably kids walking around the neighborhood, peacefully going for a stroll. Uh-oh. We better get the dogs barking on them. So, Jeff Sessions, he says that it meets the definition of domestic terrorism. James Alex Fields Jr. is a rabid Trump supporter. He's through and through alt-right. Pepe the Frog and all the Facebook posts. So these white supremacists have been emboldened by Trump. He loved Trump. So did his mother. But his mother defended him and said he wasn't a white supremacist. The way he's been handling this shit, man. I'm pulling. I want my president, right, to succeed. So I don't know. I don't want his policies to succeed. But it's like the comedian, when they're, in the stage, even if you don't like the comedian, in general, the audience is pulling for the comedian, right? Come on, you can do this. And so I think in general, people are pulling for him. And when he came out and issued a strong denunciation between racism, white supremacy, KKK, and neo-Nazis, that was 100%. That's slam dunk. He didn't mention Confederate. His aides wrote that speech for him. When it came to actually hearing about his true feelings, he's reading that speech on a teleprompter, right? So when you read a speech, you don't actually have to think about it. It's got, it's got to look authentic, but you could probably read a bunch of words, just like Will Ferrell, right? And San Diego, go fuck yourself. Well, good show, right? So, Yeah. He was reading, and it really wasn't his true thoughts. So I think an accurate thing would be a Nazi sympathizer. He's a white supremacist sympathizer. He kind of identifies, he puts, alt-left and alt-right, they're kind of on the same ground, They were being mean, they were being mean. I don't know. I don't know. The cops were scared, I think because they resonated with the Nazis, and then 80% of the Nazis had fucking assault rifles. And they issued the permit. They're all bringing a bunch of fucking guns. Why would you give a permit to that? I don't really believe in permits anyways. I believe in freedom. So, but if they're going to go through the permit process, why not make that stipulation? Keep your assault rifles at home. So you're allowed to peacefully assemble. Bringing guns, it has the implication of violence or weapons. So we will have plenty of police. There would be no possibility for any violence or anything bad going on. So, according to the records, Boone County Sheriff's Office and the Florence Police Department, which Boone County Sheriff killed Samantha Ramsey, Florence Police, they're fucking crappy. So they responded 9 times from November 2010 to February 2013. So this is 10 years ago to 4 years ago. Dogs are barking. I bet there's no fucking danger whatsoever. Dogs are barking. Probably at an innocent passerby. Huh? Oh, you're really getting them. Man, it does piss me off. It does make me mad. That owners just let them bark at people walking their dog, children walking to school. And they sit on the porch and just watch it like they're entertained by it. Look at our dogs being shitty to everybody. We can never get away with this. I would say, hey, no, it's cool. It's a kid. Hey, come down. It's a kid. So maybe the only time I think like they get all crazy and excited is when they see a other dog, usually a female dog. If they see a female dog, they actually are barking kind of like, hey, look at me. Hey, I'm right here. Look. Do you see me? And so, you can tell. You can tell the tone of a dog. So there's really vicious dogs. People raise their dogs to be very fucking vicious. And other people, raise them to be discerning, maybe, or maybe nice. Because if the neighbors would allow it, I would love to talk to them and pet their dogs and interact with them. But the fact that they let the dogs do that to everybody, I don't feel safe. When am I supposed to go in front and say hi, how are you doing, and have the dogs barking at me the whole time? So, I don't know. It's not welcoming, but that's sort of the point, right? They don't want people to come by. But during the day, I want people walking and enjoying themselves and being at peace and bike riding and having a good time. And then they get all the other dogs barking, too. So, 9 times from, 2010 to 2013, he's 27 years ago. This is a time when he's 13 to the time when he's 16. So not graduated. This would be freshman in middle school. Maybe the last year of middle school. And it was in her condo in Florence. She's 49. And then, James Alex Fields, what did I just say? 15. So in 2011, Bloom, why is her name Bloom? Is she remarried? Right? So he's got to live with the stepdad. Or is a stepdad, or where the fuck did he get these neo-Nazi ideas? Well, who encouraged it? I said he was self-radicalized, but I think I might be letting a lot of people off the hook. So the mother's in a wheelchair. She didn't feel in control of the situation and is scared, said the police dispatcher notes. So he's acting very threatening towards her. That's what she said. So I don't know what that means. That's not violence. That's not cutting, it's not slapping, it's not spitting. There is no actual physical violence. He's acting threatening. So, like a dog does when they're like... There's this, I don't know if you've seen Sandlot, but the dog that just like runs into the door, just like shaking everything, just like hitting the door. And it's, they're hysterical, they're crazy, they're mean, and then they're hitting shit. They're trying to intimidate you. They're trying to fucking make you scared. And there's been pit bulls that have broken out and eaten kids. And I think whatever your dog does when it escapes, that falls on the owner. Your dog bites somebody, that's assault charge for you. You go to jail. Your dog is either, I don't know, put down. I think you have to put him down, right? He's biting humans. So I think you have to put the dog down. Especially if they kill a fucking kid, no question asked. Kill it, immediately. Immediately, right then and there. Just killed a kid. It's got a taste for fucking blood. So is it going to run around and kill another kid real fast? So, and I think that's I hate to say that, but it's, the fucking owner's fault. The owners raised it to be mean and shitty, to be a good protective guard dog, but they didn't secure it. They didn't secure the place. They didn't put a chain on it. It was able to break out and it eat kids. So, I don't want my kid to be fucking eaten by a piece of shit dog that some asshole raised their fucking dog to be mean as fuck. All night, that's fine. Dogs can bark all night if they want to. There's a lot of things and, things that go bump in the night. When they do bark, something's happening. Right? Somebody's walking by. But just to be barking at every fucking person, it's just like, God damn it. I would quiet the dog. Right? They're barking at a kid. Quiet down. Sorry, this fucking dog thing bothers me a little bit. A little bit. So let's get to him. There were several times he smacked her in the head and then put her hands over her mouth. So there was one time when he used physical violence. 2010, he's 13 years old, so he probably didn't even hit puberty, right? He didn't even look like he hit puberty when he was 20, let alone, 7 years ago. And after she told him to stop playing video games. So, I don't know. She locked herself in the bathroom, which, I don't know, that's a good call by her. Fields had earlier told her that he would beat her up. Well, you want me to beat you up, huh? That's fucked up. I mean, I shouldn't have laughed. I should cry about that. I gotta catch myself, Some things is just like, it's so fucking repulsive. It's like 9/11, 2000 and fun. It's funny because it's sick and fucked up. Just dismissive of, a horrible tragedy. So, I don't know. This entire experience I'm changing a little bit just because, some of the fucking jokes, they're not fucking funny. Like, I mean, they might have like a punchline, but it's like, it's vicious. It's like labeling the Native Americans savage, so you're allowed to exterminate them. You're allowed to genocide them. It's taking human life and, So, anyways, after she told him to play video games, beat her up, she told the 911 operator that she was afraid of her son. February 2011, she called the police 5:20 a.m. to report Fields had not come home. She was worried about him because he was wearing a t-shirt and shorts. Then she called back 2 hours later to report he was home and acting lethargic. He threatened to run away if the police came to the condo. So I don't know what the fuck happened there. He's out all night. What was he doing? 2011, so he's 14. So what's he doing in a t-shirt and shorts? Was he tired? It was 5:20 in the morning, acting lethargic, or was he on drugs? So, she's calling the fucking cops on him all the fucking time. I don't know. Yeah, she's a woman and she can't handle a 13-year-old. She's in a wheelchair. But kids want you to like them, so, She created him. He's 20 years old. There's an actual, psychic determination that says that he's minimally responsible for who he is because it was the culture and the home and the school that he, grew out of. For 20 fucking years, his mom's been forcing him to go to church. His mom's like taking video games away from him, probably telling him to believe in God and a bunch of lies and a bunch of fucking horse shit. And then they go to, Boone County schools, which the one school, not the one he went to, there's a Confederate rebel. So the idea of a Confederate flag and Confederate rebels as a symbol in Boone County, it's totally fine. It's totally kosher. Nobody, bats an eye to it. It's fucking sick and it's fucking racist and it's enabling. And it was enabled this neo-Nazi racism, the culture of Boone County. The culture of Boone County, Kentucky. It's a teabagger county. It's a Rand Paul thing. Rand Paul is, half right. He's half right when it comes to libertarian issues of personal freedom. Well, his economics is 100% wrong. So it's a bastion. It's a teabagger bastion, Republican bastion. Republican-dominated, controlled, neo-Confederate, excusing, place. And then the fact that the students didn't want to talk, they said that they wanted all their names to be anonymous. They're scared. So it's a Nazi is the dominant culture. Being a Confederate is the dominant culture in Boone County. It's weird not to be a Nazi. It's weird not to be a Confederate. Wait, you're not a Confederate? You're not a Nazi? That's weird. And they're afraid. They're afraid of these people. And that's exactly how it was, during Reconstruction. Right after the Civil War had happened, the Ku Klux Klan went around attacking blacks and allies of blacks. So they were thugs, they were bullies, and, if you didn't hate blacks like he did, I don't know who the fuck he was trying to impress. He was trying to talk to somebody. Somebody got into his life and either introduced these ideas or, encouraged them. I don't know, I don't know. I mean, maybe fascism or Nietzsche or something, being like the Ubermensch, being strong. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be strong, but if Hitler taught you to be strong, then you might think that every fucking thing... Malcolm X taught me to defend myself. If somebody puts their hands on you, then, you fuck them up. And nobody ever told me that. So I got, picked on for most of my childhood until I came across Malcolm X. And I don't know. I really like Malcolm X. Malcolm X is so much fucking better than Hitler, so I'm not going to equate this. He... 20 years old. 20 years old. So everything that he had done up until a year or 2 years ago had been dictated. He was forced to go to public school, right? Truancy, couldn't be a Huck Finn, couldn't discover life for himself, couldn't play hooky, couldn't go on the river, go hiking and play pirates or whatever. He couldn't be the quintessential American. He wasn't allowed to be Huck Finn. Forced to go to public school, shut up, sit down, learn your fucking math, do this, do that. And then, he's expressing himself and he's like, oh, Nazis are wonderful. Nazis are cool. Wearing Nazi belt buckles. He should have been suspended for that. They should have made him take it off, suspend him. There is, freedom of speech doesn't stop at the schoolyard doors. So there's a freedom of speech argument there. But then there's also it's a threatening symbol. So if somebody looks at that symbol and says, I think you hate black people, and since I'm a black person, I think you want to hurt me. I think you want to put violence upon me. Somebody did mention something about he's the kind of kid that you never knew or expect, what he was about to do. He was unpredictable. So, and then anytime he would speak up, it was always something bad. You always knew that there was going to be, something controversial that he was going to speak of. So there's this one incident where he's very threatening. Another incident where he smacked her in the head and then he put her hands over her mouth. So... I don't know, make her shut up. Is that what he's trying to do? And then he's wandering around, and then he was lethargic. She called the cops again. She keeps calling the cops on him. I know she's, a single mother, can't do nothing, but calling the cops on your own kid. Now, many times have cops just gunned people down. So, in a way, it's almost like, I don't want to say it's a death sentence, but it's close. It's close. The cops aren't going to have any sympathy for him. They're going to be shitty to him. And they're going to say, respect your mother, she's so... And they have no idea what the situation was. She could have been a fucking shithead, a total shithead. I mean, that's what these dogs around this neighborhood actually teach me. That a lot of the people seem like they'd be nice, gentle people. If I met them in a peaceful setting when there wasn't a bunch of fucking threatening dogs... They look like they'd be nice people. But the fact that they have vicious, mean fucking dogs and sit on the porch and enjoy the shittiness of them barking at people and making people, a lot of people are actually pretty resolute. They'll walk right past the dogs on the sidewalk, kind of pretending that they're not there, but the dogs are barking right at them within just a few feet. If I was at if I followed you at the edge of my yard and I was just like, hey, what are you doing? Hey! Now, that's just getting your attention, but what if it's like vicious? What if it's like, what are you doing around here? I thought I told you not to come. Right? Is that okay? Is that acceptable? Just to be like shitty to everybody that just passes by? And you know what? I guarantee you if I did that, cops would fuck me up. They would fuck me up. And yet... it's like the dogs have freedom of speech, but we don't. Dogs can threaten anybody and everybody all live long day, but don't you look a cop cockeyed. Anyways, If somebody came up to you and said, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to throw... I thought about this, actually. And I don't know, maybe I shouldn't actually... Unless they actually bite you. Until they bite you. Until there's actually action. Yeah, they're dogs. They're going to be, you know... some of them are vicious, mean, and so... until they actually bite you, I should learn to just sort of... block it out. And it's kind of true of anybody. They're fucking weak, right? The weakest ones are the ones that's barking. And then, you know, if you stare back at a dog, or if you, you know, say, shut up to the dog, like, they get overly crazy, right? Just like a fascist. Just like a fucking fascist. They'll bully you. They'll be like, well, I don't like them damn N-words. Now, what are you going to do about it? You're going to complain? Oh, you snowflake. What, you offended by me being a, you know, racist bigot that's saying the N-word all the damn time? Yeah, I mean, that's something to be offended about. But it's like, they're shitty, they're mean, and then when you say, hey, why are you being shitty? Then it's like, oh, what? I'm the victim here. What do you mean? It's like they want to be shittier, right? How dare you question my shittiness? How dare you question me being a bully? I had actually, I don't know. Okay, so, let's carry on. I haven't got anywhere with this video, and I only got one more minute. Let me talk about... No, I'll actually talk about that when I come back. So let's just finish the authorities. There was threatening. Another woman called, and then she said that he was threatening Bloom, and then they spat in her face, threatened her, pushed her in the past. So it was like, oh, he pushed her in the past. They wanted authorities to take Fields to be assessed, saying they was afraid to take herself in the car. So they lived there in the meadows of Farm View address for 10 years. She told the media she recently moved to Maumee, Ohio for her job, and that Fields had recently moved out. So her son had recently moved out. Well, I guess he got a trust fund, right? So he got his own apartment, got his own car, got his own apartment. And but it's just within the year and a half. So within the year and a half, maybe two, she moves to Ohio. He votes for Trump when he's 18. He's 19, 20 now. And for a year, he was living with her in Ohio. And then, you know, 6 months to a year in Maumee. And Cooper High School, tiny city of Union. All right. So that was all the 911 calls. That's all I got accomplished with that. I mean, they put out a bad vibe. So, yeah, I'll come back and I'm actually going to get, I'm really going to get into this and analyze it. Boone County is a racist county. It's a racist county. So,